Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of Wednesday, October 1st, 2025 at 7 p.m. The chairman has an excused absence, but he's not with us tonight, so I'll be running the meeting. Voting on the meeting will be Les Stevens, Margaret Bacon, Ronnie Forget, and Jim Palmer. Sean will participate in the meeting. First thing on our agenda is a public hearing, and I'm going to need a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
This public hearing is for CRG Acquisitions, LLC, case number 2025-10 at 150 Gilboa Street and adjacent parcels 113-2, 114/1-2, 115/1-3, 115/5, 115/.
Sorry.
Thanks for fixing that. 113/1 is for a variance. This was advertised in the Worcester Telegram and Gazette on Wednesday, September 17, 2025, and Wednesday, September 24, 2025. The Town of Douglas Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing beginning at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, October 1st, 2025, in the Douglas Municipal Center, Resource Room, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass., to hear the following application. CRG Acquisitions, LLC is seeking a variance pursuant of Mass General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 10, and Section 9.2 of the Douglas zoning bylaws to permit a structure up to 85 feet in height under the dimensional regulations Appendix B in an industrial zone district. The property located at 150 Gilboa Street and adjacent parcels, and I'll go through it again, map and lots 113/2, 114/1 and 2, 115/1-3, 115/5, 115/8, and a portion of 113/1. Any persons interested or wishing to be heard should appear at the time and place designated. The agenda can be viewed on the douglasmass.gov, and Zoom information has been provided on our agenda. Is there anybody here representing CRG that would like to come forward?
We are.
Yep.
Can we come up?
Yep, you can come up. Yeah, don't worry, Ron, they'll just surround you.
Can I reach over you?
Oh, yeah. Closer.
Okay, well, good evening. Good evening. My name is Frank Bitkinless. I'm sure some of you recognize me, I hope. I represent a company called CRG, and we are developers nationally of large logistics and warehouse facilities. We also happen to be the same guys who developed the big building at 123 Gilboa. So to my right here is Todd Morey. He's with Beals Associates. He was our project engineer on the Gilboa project, and he'll also be the project engineer on this one. To my left, Kathleen Heyer is with Pierce Atwood. She'll be representing us for all things legal. So Todd, if you don't mind putting up the
yeah, with your permission,
plan?
if I can share my screen here.
Yep. Your assistant over there will help you.
So basically, while we're here, we were approached probably about 2 or 3 months ago by a very large and very reputable company that has an interest in owning a 1.7 million square foot facility somewhere in Massachusetts. So we talked to them at length about this. The location looked good for them. But in our conversations with them, they basically said, hey, before we really start to get into things, we're going to require to build a building about 85 feet. I'm sorry. We'd need a height variance to 85 feet, but would cap out the building at the peak at about 77 feet because of their internal logistics operations and the way they store goods and things of that nature. Now, I can't tell you who the name of this company is right now because they're having conversations with other agencies. They're actually trying to get a release internally from their PR department. What I'm allowed to tell you, however, is that this project will create more than 1,000 new jobs and obviously significantly increase the tax rateables for the town. So, Todd, if you wouldn't mind putting up the site plan, then I'm going to hand it over to you and ask you to sort of walk everybody through
Sure.
the siting, the massing, and then look at the sight line distance images.
Sure. So, as Frank mentioned, my name's Todd Morey. I'm with Beals Associates. We have been looking at this site on and off for quite some time. Some of you may be aware that there was a prior concept that had 3 buildings on this with about just under 3 million square feet total on that original concept. We've come back here, we're just under 1.7 million square feet with a single building right now, as opposed to the 3-building scheme. And what we've done is we've located it kind of centrally in the project. The site plan that's up here is conceptual in nature only. It doesn't have the benefit of full grading, stormwater analysis and all that, because we do have a lot of work to do ahead of that phase, including talking to you folks. But this is what the massing would generally look like. Building centrally located on the site, surrounded by associate or employee parking here, trailer parking around this edge, and then three portions of the building would have actual active loading docks. An entrance out here onto, I think technically where that comes out would still be Gilboa Street. It's right at the town line, so it's either Lackey Dam Road, Gilboa Street. I'm going to call it Gilboa Street tonight. So we have a truck entrance there, and then actually the employee entrance is in a different location. So the cars and they set these things up such that the cars and the trucks, to the extent practical, don't mingle. And we've been able to do that on this. The building itself is actually split into 2 different elevations, and that's why we're here tonight. So on the kind of the orangish shade there, that's a lower elevation. That's completely within your current zoning bylaw for height. I think it's 43 feet at the corners. It peaks out at about 48 or 50. The green portion, however, is where it gets a little bit taller. The reason it gets taller is because it is a state-of-the-art warehouse. They do have a lot of different types of sortation methods in there, a lot of different activities that are going on in there, as well as offices and mezzanine space up on a 2nd and even 3rd floor. The edge of that green section is about 67 feet. Once you run up your roof slope, it peaks out at about 75. And the reason we've asked for 85 is because in this town, your building inspector categorizes height a little bit differently than in a lot of other places.
He's right next to you.
I didn't even know you were sitting there. Sorry about that. I think we talked about 100 times on the other project. So that includes the building height includes rooftop mechanicals and things like that. Since this building's not fully designed, we don't know exactly how tall those are going to be, so we want to make sure we have enough of an envelope there such that we don't get through site plan approvals, special permits, Conservation Commission, all the other approvals and entitlements that we need, get into a building permit phase, and have to come back and see you folks. And I was saying, Frank, as much as I like spending time in front of Douglas boards on these projects, don't be offended, but I really don't want to have to come back and see you a second time on this exact same topic. So we are at 85 feet, and that is our request for this project. Kathleen will speak a little bit more to this, but this is the general ask, all right? So we're looking for a variance from section 4.1.3, which is your table of dimensional requirements. It is just that one item that we've highlighted right there, your maximum building height. We want to go up to 85 feet. As we noted, the parcel is about 226 plus or minus acres. It actually is in 3 towns, Douglas, Sutton, and just a little sliver in Uxbridge. Just to give you an indication of what we're going to be doing for permitting, next we will be going through Douglas and Sutton and probably Uxbridge planning boards, and then if we need to, Douglas and Sutton Conservation Commission. I don't think we'll be in front of Uxbridge Conservation Commission on this one. On this property, we know of 2 prior height variances. One was allowed for 75 feet, and I have a case reference up there, 2021-03. And there was another one that we were told about that was up to 90 feet. I couldn't find the case reference on that.
That was in 2020.
I was going to say, I would guess that there are at least one, if not more, people in this room right now that sat for that one or heard that one as well. As I mentioned, 1.67 million square feet, fully in Douglas. The entire building will be in Douglas. It will not cross over the line like the other concepts did. We are in the industrial zoning district. We're looking at 1,800 plus or minus parking spaces, 1,200 plus or minus trailer spaces, and roughly about 1,000 permanent jobs. This is the
Yep.
This is the 2021-03, so that was the 75-foot one. Or is this one also 90?
Should be 90.
That should be the 90.
Okay,
That should be 90. That was the last one that Dalphiny had
That's right.
received.
okay.
Yeah.
This is the 75, okay.
Yeah.
Is it okay if I keep these?
Yeah, you can have mine.
Thank you. The other thing that we wanted to point out that we've talked to the Board of Selectmen and the Planning Board about is the distance this is actually set back from the road. Because this is such a large parcel of land, we're able to keep that building off the road quite a bit. What we're showing in this concept plan, we're about just a little over 1,800 feet off of Gilboa Street for where that hits the corner. I'll put that laser point right on it, right in that spot. That's where the building height jumps, 1,800 feet. We're also about 1,200 feet off of the ramp from Route 146 down here. And on this corner, the closer corner, we're about 650 feet off of that ramp. So we are set back quite a ways from the public roads. This gives you an idea. This is a slightly doctored version. I kind of cut and pasted a couple portions of their standard elevations together here. So it's really not to scale, but I wanted to show you some of the relative elevations. So if you're assuming the ground floor is set at elevation 0, in architectural speak, you would have your lower section, top of wall, right around elevation 43, and these are the edges, of course. And then your higher section, you can see here, the top of the parapet's really 67 feet 6 inches on your edges. Once you run that peak up, you can see up here, 75 feet. So that's what I was mentioning earlier. If you want to take a look at a cross-section of what actually happens inside the building, here's the lower portion of the building itself. Again, top of wall, 43 feet. You have racking that goes up inside the building. When you get to your larger portion, and again, this is not to scale, and it's been kind of spliced together to fit on this presentation deck. You've got your upper edge, your 67-foot parapet there, but what you can see inside that building is really 3 levels of activity, and that's why they need that height. We had one of CRG's architectural partners take a look at doing some visual renderings of what this would look like from the public roadways. We selected 4 spots as you come down off of Route 146 and over onto Gilboa Street. So the first one is up in this area of 146. We tried to capture right about where where the break in the woods is. We're just, I guess, to the north of it. We just missed that. Then once you get to the ramp, we'll take another look at what that looks like. Once you get to the bottom of the ramp, we'll look at that. And then again, the final spot we'll look at is actually where the entrance to Pine Sand and Gravel is today. So as you're coming down 146, believe it or not, the building actually is in there. If I zoomed in far enough, you could actually barely see a white spot in between some of those trees. But this is about where that cut is. If you're familiar with 146, you don't notice it as much this time of year, but I had noticed it in the winter months. There is a spot there that you can see through. But the building sits down below that. As you're coming off the edge of the ramp, you can see there's a retaining wall that we're proposing right up front here. But more importantly, what you can see is the corner of the building at 43 feet right here on this edge. That 85-foot jump is back here, and you can just barely make out the edge of it. I'll move that dot down so you can see it. But right directly above that dot is where the higher edge of the building would sit.
So Todd, just to clarify, the near corner is zoning compliant?
This corner is zoning
That height?
compliant.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. This corner is what we're seeking the variance on.
Yeah, the far one.
The next one, again, this is right when you get to the bottom of the 146 ramp, right as you're connecting to, I guess it's Old Blackie Dam Road at that point. You look back, we've shown some small vegetation in there, but what you're seeing along this edge, just above my pointer here, is zoning compliant edge of the building. So that whole edge is within your current requirements. And then again, this, what you see in the foreground here, right there, that's the current entrance to Pine Sand and Gravel. You can see we have not even tried to put any landscaping in here to mask anything. We often, when these artistic renderings are done, people say, well, those trees are 40-year-old trees. We just didn't even put them in. So this is what it would look like if nothing got planted. Again, you can see the front edge of that building right there, but what you can't see is the large edge of the taller edge of the building because it sits back. So that's all I've got on the technical end.
Okay, so Kathleen, you want to bring us home and say some legal things and make everybody feel comfortable about themselves?
Absolutely. I feel so much better knowing you granted fire variances for this site. So, I mean, you guys are familiar with the test in your bylaw and the statute, but just to run you through it, the test for a variance is whether there are circumstances relating to the soil condition, shape, or topography of the property which do not generally affect the industrial zoning district. Literal enforcement of the bylaw will create a substantial hardship, financial otherwise, to the applicant, and the board may grant relief to the applicant without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially derogating from the intent or purpose of the bylaw. I don't think there's any question that this is a unique site, both in terms of soil and topography, based on the current operations that have been going on for several decades. As a result of that, the remediation that is needed to be done, the work that needs to be done on site comes at a significant cost to the applicant. So, and that would be any applicant, whether it was CRG or anybody else coming before you. It's going to take a substantial investment to make this property usable for something other than the existing sand and gravel operation. So we set this forth at length in the addendum to the application that we provided, but we believe that the financial hardship to this applicant or any applicant is sufficient to justify the grant of a variance in this particular application. There is case law supporting the proposition that if there's a significant enough financial investment that needs to be made, that is the sort of hardship that can justify the grant of a variance. And as Todd just showed, we think that this can be granted without any derogation from the intent and purpose of the bylaw, partly because it's, generally speaking, not going to be seen from anywhere. And also the other added benefits that having the structure and the jobs and the investment that it brings into the town will come as a result of this. And so, you know, we believe that generally speaking, redevelopment of this property as proposed here by CRG is good for the town, is a benefit for everybody, is a good, proper reuse of the site, given how difficult it will be to remediate this and make it usable for something. And this is an appropriate application to come in and take advantage of this unique property with the constraints that it has around it, but also with the unique siting that it has with 146 right there, and the topography on the outside, which will provide some screening, taking advantage a little bit of what's already been done on the site.
Thank you. You good, Frank?
That's about all we have. We'll open it up
Okay.
for questions.
Yeah, I'll open it up to the board. Anybody have any questions on the board? I'm going to make it real simple. I'll go around the table. You have anything, Les?
Yeah, I do. Now, I didn't, all I had was this little plan, so I couldn't really see real clear what was going on. I don't know if you submitted big plans.
No.
I don't think we did.
No, we did. We submitted
Yeah,
some
so,
proposals.
so it was just, I had to get the magnifying glass out. And then you said there wasn't any grading plan. So what is this?
No, what I said is we haven't fully designed it yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at this, now this is what, just a partial grading plan or conceptual grading plan? So it looks like this is,
See what's in it
I
for
don't
us.
know, where
I
we
didn't
have
open them
I
up.
can't really tell, a 20-foot difference?
Oh, it's probably more than that.
Just the driveway going up to the,
Yeah, it's probably more than that.
okay.
This is the full set.
Well, how many full sets did we get?
Well, I just pulled that one out of my folder, so
Okay, just one.
we have at least one.
Yeah, why don't you? Make it easy.
You can take it with you if you like.
I will.
Yeah.
And, so I guess I have another question regarding, now, have you met with the technical review board at all at this stage?
No.
No.
No, that would be later.
No, this would be the, sorry, Frank, this would be the first step for them to see if they're going to end up with a variance, and then after that, they would go through tech review, site plan review with planning board and stuff like that. So this is, there's no sense in going through that if they're not going to get a variance, so this would be their first
Right,
step.
but I'd be interested to hear what the emergency,
That's all going to be part of planning board.
That'll be part of planning board, so Dan,
so with respect to the height of this building, I mean, is that an issue when it comes to fire protection or things like that? I mean, that's what we're...
so give me a minute there, Les. So Dan had relayed that question to me as well. So I reached out to the deputy fire chief. First, I reached out to the fire chief. He wasn't available, so I reached out to the deputy fire chief. In the event that there was a potential problem with one of the rooftop units, there would be access. There's typically a scuttle hole in a building of this size. They're not going to put a ladder up to climb up it. There would be an internal access to it. If there was solar on it with any building, it doesn't even matter the height. They wouldn't even go up there anyways. I don't know what they're proposing if there's solar on the roof. And as far as a ladder, their current ladder would just about make the top of it. They have a 75-foot ladder, and then that's about 12 feet off the ground when it starts. So they could reach the top of the building with that truck if they needed to.
So could we get something in writing from...
I think that's part of the tech review.
That would be, so that would,
They're asking us to vote on a variance for regards to the height of the
Just with the
building.
side.
yeah, but wait a minute, hold a minute. So even if we approve a variance, we don't approve the site plan review, we don't approve the tech review. We're just doing the same thing with conservation, right? So conservation doesn't govern what we decide on, or a planning board or something like that. And I'm not trying to convince you into it, I'm just trying to make sure we stay in our lane. We have a certain task that we're supposed to do, right? And tech review is not part of our task. We don't even go to tech review, we're not invited to it. We don't participate in it. That would be the building inspector, the community development director, sometimes the conservation agent, depending on what it is.
Can I also add that, you know, obviously this isn't the first building that this ultimate user has built of this type, and the last one they actually built, we built for them and designed for them. So I can guarantee you that we've already done this before, and we already know what the design will entail, and that'll be submitted to the building department, be completely code compliant. Everything will be, all the boxes will be checked with fire, life safety, everything, including, this isn't a prototype. This is a building that has been built before. Yeah.
I got a question.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that Margaret's satisfied with, no.
Not
Okay.
quite.
All right, we'll come back to you then.
Okay.
I'll go to Ronnie.
When you drive into Pine, right, where the office is, and then you go up the hill, is the front of the building going to be on top of that hill that's there, or is that going to be?
Yeah, Todd, are we cutting our, you know the existing elevation when you go to the top?
Yeah. So that actually comes down just a little bit. So if you, well, actually, it might be easier for you to see right here on my computer screen, right next to you. So that office is right about here, where you go in.
Yeah.
And where you're talking about where you go up the top of the hill, I think
Yeah.
you're talking about right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to end up, I believe, just the floor of the building will be just a touch below that.
Just below that?
Just below the top of that
Before you
hill.
get to the crown?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Because there's still a lot of room in the back there.
Oh, yeah. It's a big site.
It goes
You know,
back for a
and I
long
think
way.
I think it's important to say, too, that we're utilizing, you know, basically half the capacity of the site, right? I mean, our original plans, the speculative layout had 2.8, 2.9.
2.8 million square feet. And,
That's all right, she fixed it.
okay. 2.8 million square feet and 3 buildings.
Right. So this will be a lot less intensive use.
You good, Ron?
Yeah, I'm plenty.
Sean?
Thank you.
You all set? Jim?
Fine.
Margaret? I'm just going to circle back to you. I just want to make sure that we answer your concerns and before we go in here.
Well, I guess we're being asked for a variance on the height of the building.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, the building and the site.
So I guess right now, I'm not satisfied or comfortable until I just looked at this thing today, and I couldn't really get a good handle on it. So, I wouldn't mind doing a site visit. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, Ron?
Well, through you, I want to ask her a question.
No, you can ask her all that.
Have you been down into the pit?
Not
Pine
recently, not recently, no.
Well, do you know when you drive in, you go up that hill, and that,
I've never driven in and driven up the hill.
okay.
It's a rough.
Well, we hauled sand out of there for the picnic ground for years. So I've been all over that pit up there. So it's looks like a real nice.
Well, it's a good use of the property. If it was anywhere else in town, I'd probably have a different opinion. Where it's adjacent to the highway,
Yeah.
we've already given 2 different variances for height, and now a silo doesn't compare to a 1.7 million square foot building. I couldn't argue that on my best day. But the height is the height, right? And the illustration, I've gone through this twice. They came to the selectmen's meeting and explained it, so I've had a chance to digest it, so I understand where you're coming from. But they put a lot of effort into trying to screen this building so it's not seen, as Todd went through, showing you the different points of where you can see it from the road.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Yes.
also, I do think the fire protection part is more of a site plan issue, but, one of the things I was thinking, you do have, like you said, you had a 75-foot ladder in town. The mounting height of that, I thought it was only around 6 or 8 feet, but you say it's around 12? But even at
12
6 or 8
feet. I'm going by what a deputy fire chief told me this afternoon, because
Yeah,
I
so
called
you
and
still
asked,
have a
because I
reach
need
of-
to have answers for questions.
So if it's 12, you have a reach 80, roughly 87.
Well, that's vertical.
Yeah.
That's vertical, so when you put it on an angle, so.
So you're still going to get up over that 67-foot parapet. And
Correct.
I guess my impression on that is that, fighting a fire on this building would be absolutely the same as fighting a fire on the Cubes at Gilboa building. There wouldn't be any difference. You're still going to be able to get up
Yeah,
over that edge.
Or
You're still
the
gonna shoot
envelope
water up
company,
onto that.
because if the fire is manageable, they're going to go up there. If it's not manageable, they're not going to go up there, no matter what the height of the building is.
Exactly.
So. Yes, Sean?
This isn't to endorse any particular position, but I can tell you, if you wanted to enter onto the site to look at it, there are very menacing no trespassing signs up on those fences.
Yeah, but we
On
can accommodate access whenever you want. Whenever you want.
No, but, what's that, on the cubes?
Yeah,
Yeah, right on the fence doors. when you drive up.
the gravel pit.
Oh, at the gravel pit. I thought you meant the cubes. I was going to say, because they had some little side deal going on with cars racing around up there, so they had a little bit of a
Yeah,
problem.
inadvertently gave you a
That-
quarter.
We didn't sponsor that activity, yeah.
So,
So one couldn't enter onto the property to look at it.
during business hours, during business hours, you could go in and you could go to the office
I can only
and
say
talk
that
to.
with the
Yep.
signs.
No, I've been in there. I've been in there with my trucks and stuff, and you go to the scale house, and they say, yeah, go up the hill, take a right, go over there, take a left, and you're at the where you need to be. So, yes, Frank? Did you?
We accommodate any type of visits you want to.
That's all I ask.
Yeah.
Site visit, I don't know if anybody else would be interested.
I just know, they already have a height variance of, 75 and then 90 that was granted by this board in 2 previous decisions related to Dolphinies when they came before us and stuff like that. And I know once they're going to have tech review and, quite a few rounds of tech review and then planning and everybody else, and I think everybody else will vet out their plan and, their concerns and stuff like that.
I'm just curious, right, and I'm just curious. It's not trying to change any thought process. What would we accomplish with a site visit? It is a wide open sand pit, that's why, but if you're not familiar with the site, maybe that's all it is, that you're trying to get familiar with the site.
Usually, on any big job, I usually like to do site
No?
visits.
Okay, yeah. No, I'm just
Yeah.
asking, that's all. Ken?
If I can offer
Yeah.
some clarity. With the tech review, that's when they do their designs. They wouldn't have designs prior to getting a variance request accepted. All the designs have got to go through, I believe, this building size, what I have available for fire suppression and everything else. It's going to have to be state-of-the-art to begin with. So that'll all be covered between building permits, tech review. That wouldn't even really go through the planning board. That's more into the building department and compliances.
Okay, so we could approve this tonight. The fire department, fire chief could still say,
They could step all over it and say no.
Yeah.
That happens all the time,
Yeah.
by the way.
okay, right.
That happens all the time.
All this is just one step in the process, and it's very, without this, they can't go anywhere else. That's the problem that they have, right? So if they were successful in achieving their variance and the height variance, then they could, all right, now what's the next step? Todd's going to be a busy boy, but what's the next step? He's got to go through the tech review and everything else that's involved in it. It's not a typical little process, so there's a tremendous amount of things that go in. When they did that logistics place there, Blackstone Valley Logistics, that was a nightmare. You had 3 different towns, everybody's pulling from different directions. And it's going to be similar with this one, as they go through Douglas, but he still has to deal with Sutton. Now, I did ask you on the, at the selectmen's meeting, the property line, is it still just go past the corner of that building?
Yeah, so it's, I will roughly trace it here. It's right about,
Show them the other,
Oh, that's right.
show them
We have it on
the red line. It's very clear.
right here. So this red line is the town line.
Yep. And that's important to note because Blackstone Valley Logistics that was over on Mary Bedoin's property over there across Lackey Dam, we have 9% of that building. It's the mechanical room, but it's 9%, right?
I mean, you can
So
shut the
there is
water off if you want to.
some positives there, but this particular building here is going to be all in Douglas, correct?
Correct, 100% Douglas.
Yeah. Which is a good consideration for the efforts that Mr. Maneric's been putting in for economic development. He's trying to retire, but he's never going to. He said 2 years, 3 years ago, but
Anything from the public?
yeah, and I'll get to that in a minute. I'm just making sure everybody here is at it. Everybody else satisfied with questions at the table? I'm going to open up to the public. Anybody in the audience, if anybody's interested, you just need to raise your hand, be recognized, state your name and address for the minute taker, and then we're off to the races. All right, seeing none, it's just a happy, we have a participant. Yes, Carol?
Hi, my name is Carol Godlinski, 55 Island Road in Douglas. I'm fairly familiar with this property because my company was the one that first started gravel removal there. And so that was about 52 years ago. And based upon what I'm seeing here, I don't know your actual floor elevation and everything, it's a good possibility that this building will end up being 50 feet lower than the original hill originally was. So the original hill that was there probably was about 50 feet higher than what this building is going to be.
It's a lot of work.
The original gravel.
Yeah, if I may,
Yes.
she's pretty close. I
Oh,
don't
yeah.
know if she was looking at the plans, but I believe.
No,
that-
she pays attention.
Yeah, I believe that existing office is right around elevation 350.
Right.
It was 470.
Again, we haven't done all the earthwork analysis and things like that, but my gut is telling me that elevation of the building is going to be somewhere around 400, plus or minus
Right.
5 feet.
Yeah.
And that's just an average of what the other three were that
Yeah.
we've done some more design work on. But it's going to be around 400, which means the peak of this thing is going to be about 475.
Yeah.
350 and 150 is,
And just for anybody paying attention, so we don't get shot tomorrow, that's assumed elevation above sea level, not
Yeah.
elevation of the building. Just
so-
anybody.
350 plus 150 or so, that's
Yeah.
about 500 feet, so.
People only
So we're
hear what
below
they
that.
want to hear, and I just wanted to make sure that was clear. That's all.
It's a different variance.
Yeah.
I should remember to use the word elevation in front of all of that,
Yeah.
but I just said a lot of numbers, so you
Yeah.
hear the word
Yeah.
elevation
No,
a lot of
that's fine.
times.
Anybody else in the audience have anything? Is the board ready to make a decision tonight? I don't know if anybody's online. I don't think so.
There's a number of people, I was just wasn't sure.
You got Todd Murray up there, but he's sitting over here, so that's not him.
Yeah, I'm not going to raise my hand.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've already said enough.
All right, looks like we
Yeah.
offered, going once.
What's the desire of the board? Do we want to make a decision tonight?
Yes.
I want to make a decision.
Okay.
There you go.
Yep, we're ready.
Then need a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing as none, all in favor?
Aye. I'll make a motion to approve the height variance of 85 feet for CRG Acquisition LLC, located at 150 Gilboa Street, and the adjacent parcels that were referenced in the public hearing notice.
Good move. And just put the case number.
Great. Case number is, you're really making this challenging. Case number is 2025-10.
Okay, do we want to put any findings of fact with that?
I think on the findings and facts is the fact that the site already was granted 2 previous height variances, one of 75 feet and one of 90 feet by the Douglas Zoning Board of Appeals in prior decisions, and of which one of them is still active on the site.
We have Les made his long-winded motion, which might help, and Jim seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing as none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? No.
Thank you very
You
much.
have your
We'll certainly be
you have your
back and-
decision, so we'll get the draft decision filled out,
Yeah.
get it signed, and you'll be notified once it's done.
Certainly look forward to seeing you again. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. So that's something that we're start working on, adding a finding of fact. That's why I inserted that. It was a little awkward because we're not used to doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna do North Village next. So the the next thing on our agenda is North Village project, it's the 40B project, and possible votes. Representative of North Village isn't here, but I do recognize one of the residents here. Do you have something that you want to bring to us? Any comments or anything that or just here to listen to us?
I can provide you with an update if you want.
Sure. You can come up. Just state your name and your address. What's that? Oh, that's Doug.
Yeah.
Whatever. I can't pay attention to who's who anymore. I should have read your sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was taller.
Douglas Bush, Haley Ward Engineering.
Yeah.
We provide the inspection services for
Town of Douglas Zoning Board.
Yep.
So I went out Monday just to check the site before the meeting, just to be able to provide an update. So they are raising structures in the roadway in preparation to pave from the end of the Boulevard Road around to Middle Road C. I'm not sure if that includes, I don't know if he talked to you, if that includes the sidewalks as well. Supposed to be the sidewalks too. The driveways are all done. So we're still waiting on, I had asked North Brown to provide some sort of analysis on some of the basins that have been repaired that weren't draining. Because 2 or 3 of them, they added a pipe, which wasn't on the original design. So I'm asking for them to provide, their engineer to provide an analysis on whether or not that will cause any adverse effects downstream. Because these basins are all supposed to be...
Are these the rain gardens you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, so where's the pipe go to?
So they have the basins in what they call a level spreader, so the basins are supposed to be free draining, and when they get to a certain elevation, they're supposed to drain over that level spreader and into the channel, and ultimately into the bigger basins. So at the end of the basin and under that level spreader, they provided a pipe. So they've dug out these basins in an attempt to repair them, but they've also added this pipe, which, like I said, is not on the original design. It's not unheard of to do that, it's something it's a change.
It's a change, and they should be acknowledging this before they make the change, not after the fact.
Correct. So they did that in conjunction with their repairs. I wasn't aware of it, so something I observed, but I'm asking for them to provide some sort of analysis that we can say it doesn't cause, because the problem is I can't tell if the basins or those storm cells are going to drain freely, or is it the pipe, or is it both? I don't know. So if it's just the pipe or the majority of the pipe, I want to know what goes downstream and how much more flow it adds.
When we originally started that project, the rain gardens were designed to drain within either 24 or 72 hours. They changed the times around a little bit on that, but they're supposed to drain. And
Correct.
I don't ever remember at the very beginning that they were filled with mulch. And it doesn't make any logical sense to me that you made a rain garden, fill it with mulch, and expect it to drain.
Yeah, I'm not sure where that came from originally.
No.
I don't know where the change came in.
But it wasn't approved through this board, I can tell you that. I think I've only missed one meeting since 2013, and I would have remembered it.
Sure, and there's been some changes that we weren't privy to. At the time, you guys had a town engineer that we would report to, and then what happened from then on, I don't know. So there have been some changes like that. So in addition to that, there's some lighting issues.
So the lighting, already gone through that. We got that figured out,
Okay.
and I'll share that with you. You talked about the pavement, and I went in the building department the other day, community development, whatever that room's called, and I asked to see a full set of plans, and I started reading them, and then I asked the building inspector to come over. The pavement on the driveways, and I'll argue this until the end of time, that's part of the whole process. This is a condominium project. You can't just say the pavement in the street. The driveway's a part of it. This was all designed. Did you witness any of that pavement, the top coat on the pavement?
I haven't witnessed much of the top coat.
Okay. So then you have zero idea if there's been a tack layer put in between the two?
Correct.
Right. That's on the plans. So have you seen these plans and all the notes, the
The new
general
ones?
notes? Huh?
Were you talking about the original ones or the?
From 2010, the last revision.
So I don't have the last revision. That we had discussed.
They're in the building department. There's a full set in there. And Jen, could you actually email them over to you? Because there has been discussion about the the loom not growing and everybody's arguing about that, and we have no grass out in the field and everything else. In the general notes, it says that they're supposed to water them. They're supposed to sprinkle those until they've germinated and
Sure,
taken
no,
root,
that's their
right?
responsibility to have it.
But they haven't been doing that, from my understanding. How do we get to the point where, instead of having a rock fight with them all the time, find out what their deficiency is and just get them to do it?
You mean for the,
Well, you're sending in your reports, and it's like the boy that cried wolf. We're not even listening to you anymore. I'm speaking from your head, right? It's like, I'm just sending these things in, and nobody's doing anything with it. We see stuff on there that goes back to 2017 on the notes.
Sure.
Right? But it's going to be fixed on final coat. That's the catch-all answer that they have on most of the things on there.
which
guess-
some of these items can be resolved
Yep.
when they get the final code.
Right, but we as a board, we don't go out there. We don't inspect it, we don't supervise it, we don't get involved in it. We're relying on the building inspector and yourself to give us the information, and we try to be reasonable, but we have to enforce it, otherwise we'll have a tribe of people in here with all their complaints, and some of them have nothing to do with us, cracked plaster or whatever the case may be. That's their issue. It's not something that we're overseeing. But the stuff that we're supposed to be doing from a construction standpoint, I want to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. And I've said it numerous times that I don't want them to do any more, do something they're not supposed to do, but I want them to do everything they're supposed to do. Right? Unless they come in and say, this isn't working, we need to put a pipe in the basin. Okay, where's this pipe going to go? I need you to say, yeah, that makes sense. Or not put the pipe, all right, where's it go? I don't know where it goes. I don't know if it works. It's just a poor answer, right? So not trying to be difficult with them, but we're going in circles all the time. We're almost there. We're down to the last 25% of the project. But we need to make sure that we get it done correctly. Now, these lights, after reading the plan, I'm like, oh, I got a plan I can read. So then I asked the Jen, the administrative assistant in there, I said, here's the name of the company, here's the model number, can you reach out to them? Well, the lights are still available.
Okay.
They can still get them, and they're cast aluminum, it's a substantial light. What they proposed, that sheet metal light that came in, it's just, it's not going to work, it's not going to last, right? It was reasonable for them to tell us and for us not to question them that they no longer make the light because it was the plane's from 2009. That's not out of the ordinary that something 16 years old isn't available anymore. Sometimes you buy something and a week later they don't have anything for it. But these lights are still available.
Sure.
So.
Right, and I'm assuming I haven't been involved in that process of what light they submitted. I know that a plan was sent over today. I've seen the plan that you provided us. I didn't know how this was going as far as what's been approved or what hasn't been approved or what's been submitted.
Yeah, well, they came in that one time and they had that piece of paper with, it looks like the typical round green bond light that you'll see with the one bulb in it and the outside doors. That's what the style looks like, right? That
one
they brought
just
in.
recently submitted?
That they tried, that they came in with.
Sure.
Unless they can't get that other light, I don't understand why we're changing the light. That's what was agreed upon, and that's what they should be putting in. Right? I think it was designed to be somewhat attractive for the development.
Yep.
It's a clustered neighborhood, but it still should provide the service of the light and have some attractive appeal to it. Right? So
The light, as far as the lighting goes, what's there now obviously is not, something that is wanted, but they are in the correct locations. I don't know, after putting in the new lights, I don't know if that's going to, help full lighting of the entire sidewalk. But the locations of where they put the lighting is as proposed.
Yep. So as on the plan is like. Again, when I said that I only want them to do what they're supposed to do, right? Sure. So which is now Phase 3, which was originally Phase 4,
Right.
Nautical Way, there's not a sidewalk or anything in that, right? So I don't know how that got missed, but it got missed. It was on the, I didn't make the plan.
It was, yeah, and that's what looks like it was proposed. There was no
Right.
sidewalk
Yep.
down that
Yep.
middle road.
So, and the point I'm trying to make is they're going to do only what they need to do, right? Logic would tell me that I put sidewalks everywhere else, I should put one down here if I was doing the development, but that's not what they chose to do, and they don't have to do it, it's not on the plan.
Right.
But it's also noted that they're only going to do what they need to do, right? Well, you need to do what the agreement was, in my opinion. I'm not speaking for everybody sitting here. Sean was on the board at the very beginning of this. We were going back and forth. Driveways ended up, in first phase, they wanted to extend the buildings an extra 5 feet. And then by the time they rounded the corner, realized that now the driveways are only 16 feet long, and they thought the sidewalk was going to help them get the extra space. Well, it doesn't necessarily work when you have a truck like mine that's 21 feet long.
Yeah.
So. Yes? You have anything? No.
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, no, good. I'm done.
I think the concern that we've raised time and time again is regarding the rain gardens and the material in there. If there's an alternative, or what was proposed was, I would have assumed that what was proposed was more of a grass bottom, like a country drain.
Which is what was proposed.
Is that what was proposed then?
Yeah.
And that's what, if they want to change it to something else, they got to come back before us with a proposal. But the mulch is just never going to be a good situation long-term. If it's country drainage, then it's more of a grass bed and makes it mowable and maintainable. But mulch is, the problem with mulch is when water gets in there, it floats to the top and floats over, and if it gets too high, it's...
Well, what it's turned into, if you go up there and look at them, is the rain gardens are now mulch beds with bushes in the middle of them. And that's not what was designed at the very beginning, I know that.
Well, there is, and I'd have to find it, there is it says a dense grass mix in the basins with some sort of mixture of plants via that
Right.
plant table.
Right.
Doesn't tell you what and how many.
But they were depressions when they first started.
Right.
Now they're filled to the top with mulch with bushes in the middle of them.
Right.
Okay, so.
I think the bushes were supposed to, the mulch was not original, but the bushes, some
But
sort
I
of
think
mixture.
even the bushes, I think, were supposed to be set into the ground, not at ground level.
Yeah, so that's the
It
only,
became more of
it's a little hard for me
landscape
to,
feature instead of a functional wall.
and it's a little hard for me to tell what and how many. I mean, I can tell how many plants, or what plants that they proposed, I just don't know how many they proposed. There's nothing on here to tell me that.
Right. Yes.
I don't believe that those plans even give a depth of the depression on those rain gardens. It just shows a contour.
They show contours. There's no specific
depth.
detail. There's more of a detail for those big storm basins. But for the storm cells, it's more just on the grading plan.
Right. It was just to catch some minor surface water and dissipate, right?
Yeah.
Yes. You mentioned surface water, but if you go up there, it's actually catching the drains from all the roof drains, dumping in there.
Yeah, which, another thing that is not on the plans, and I don't know if there was communication at one point that that's what it was meant to do, but that's something that,
This is something they chose to do, I believe. I don't think that.
My understanding, we don't have the records for it, communication with the town engineer at the time. We don't have availability of any of his records to be able to verify it or anything.
I would disagree with that statement because Bill was very adamant about making sure it came back to the board. He wouldn't have made decisions on his own. He actually didn't conduct himself much different than what you're doing. You have to go back to the board and get permission. You're not making decisions on our behalf out in the field.
On my behalf, I have questioned him many times with regards to the gutters draining into the
Yeah.
rain gardens.
Yeah.
If that was approved.
Yeah.
And can you show me information? I asked him for information to show me it was approved.
Even in the event that if it was true that the town engineer told him to do it, It's got to be documented. You can't do it word of mouth and do that. They would be foolish to do that because who knows what tomorrow brings, right? The guy's not here to say it, such as he is now.
I can't speak for them, because they're not.
No, I'm not asking you to. All I can go by is what we agreed upon that's in writing, right? Any changes that we made or that's been documented. We're going back and forth at the very beginning with the roads, right? Well, the road, Ken called them, you don't have enough distance from the pavement. Oh, no problem, so they cut the pavement. So that created another discussion. I said, so where's your control points? Where do you pull from? There isn't any, because it's a condominium. I said, there has to be something. And so after some labored conversation, it was determined that the center of the road is actually established. So that's what they pull off of. There's an established line in the center of the road. So that is their datum, for lack of a better description, to pull their dimensions off of. So hopefully the as-bills reflect that the road's where it's supposed to be, but it's kind of late in the game to be messing with that. So I'd be more concerned with making sure that this pavement has got the tack coat in between.
Sure.
And somebody should be there monitoring it. I know when we do road work in town, Stantec's there, they're checking surface temperature, they're checking the mixed temperature.
So when we do when the road gets paved, we will have a independent, like a Yankee Engineering there to surface temperature, asphalt temperature, mat thickness. I'll be checking widths, tack coat, all that, so.
Yeah. There was some grading concerns before. I think the building inspector brought it up as some puddling and different things going on, so hopefully all that, they said they were going to correct it. But.
Sure, so I'd like to, and I've talked to Barlow about this, about making sure that we go out prior to paving, determine areas that need to be repaired. Excuse me. And just recently on Monday, I saw that the areas that I had mentioned to shim, to make sure that we're draining where it's supposed to go and not puddling, are taken care of prior to final coated asphalt. So, just the idea is obviously not to have puddles in the road. Right now they have some drains in the areas that are problems, and those drains are, what I'm told, is they're supposed to be removed. So, and then when the asphalt is final, it should be draining to where it should be going. So,
do they receive a copy of all your reports?
I send a copy to them. Yes, they're copied on my email.
The reason why I'm asking is they had put in a request with the administrative assistant that they wanted the board's concerns in writing. Our only concerns that we have is your reports and resident complaints.
Sure.
Right? Other than that, we don't have concerns. We're not out there inspecting it. We're not doing anything other than listening to what you say and try to help get the project finished. Anybody else have anything for Doug? You?
Well, just how many rain gardens are there out there?
Oh, yeah.
A lot of them. Are they per each building? Every unit.
And they all drain via swales behind the buildings and then into bigger storm basins and ultimately into a bigger storm basin, which eventually enters into...
And are they all not functioning?
No, there's very few actually that aren't functioning. I mean... Yeah,
there's only a couple of that problematic.
So I went out Monday, and the ones we had talked about earlier, or I had talked about earlier with pipes in it, there was 2 or 3 of those that had issues where they were constantly full of water, where the others weren't. So they had remedied those, they dug them out, and they also added a pipe.
So, and what they do, put a pipe like maybe a foot below the bottom of the...
Bottom of the basin, and then it goes into the swale on the other side of it. Now, which is fine, it's just, that's, like I said, it's a change.
Right.
And it's something that, it's probably minimal, but it's increasing the flows downstream. So yeah, and when I went out on Monday, that was, I believe it rained most of Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, quite a bit, the week prior. So that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday was probably a little bit out of that 72-hour range, but they were all dry. So it appears that they're
Yeah.
working. I still don't want to say they are without getting a little bit more proof
Right.
that they're functioning as they should.
Yeah. Just on this being the 40B, it's a little different than the average project, that any changes at all, you have to determine whether it's a minor or a major change, right? So I would consider that a minor change, but it still has to be documented and agreed upon. You can't casually go, because then there is no way for anybody to address any issues that come up. It's like, where did this come from? Now your plan is no longer valid because nothing's following the plan. So that's the only reason for the documentation.
Okay. And then just one other
Yep.
question, if
No,
I may.
go ahead.
Now, I notice we have all these letters in our package from residents up there.
Yep.
And so obviously you have copies of all these.
I do,
too.
Yep.
Okay.
So some of the things in those letters would be related to what we do. And some of the things are related to, some of them are building, but not, and other ones are just the typical contractor, owner, so lack of a better description, disagreement or squabble as to what they think it should be, right?
Yeah, I just see a lot of
Becomes
that.
more of a civil complaint.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just have to be careful not to get involved in that. We have to try to stay in our own lane and only address what we're involved in. If it's a building related, I don't even get involved in it. So I got to deal with Ken. If it's a civil thing, there's nothing we can actually do about that.
No, you can see
Nor should we.
a lot of common themes with regard to the drainage and the pavement and the lighting. So you can see that in a lot of these.
Right, and that's, and I have the same concerns as them, and I bring this up to Doug every time I recognize him and see him. You look just like somebody else that comes in here from that development, so when you're sitting there quiet, I'm like, he must be somebody for that, so I'll just...
Somebody you
get
like
to
or
it.
not?
No. I think he's an engineer, actually, because he's very detail-oriented, and he just goes through it, but you're trying to get the emotion out of it and just get to the substance of what his actual issue is.
One more thing regarding the basins too. I don't know of any. I'm sure there was one submitted at some point, some sort of analysis, drainage analysis for the site. I'm assuming those basins, usually it's within 72 hours is when they should drain. Whether or not that changed over the course of their original design, if it was 24 to 72 or not.
You know, if they're not maintained,
Well, sure.
that things change.
Yep.
you know,
Yeah,
and they
things-
don't drain and, yeah.
Well, maintaining them, but when I went through there at one point, the last time that they were in, I went through that day, and they were with a little mini excavator emptying one out, and it was all black soil because all the mulch had broken down.
Yeah.
There's no possible way that's going to function as what the rain garden is designed to be.
Yeah. You impact the soil.
Yeah, right.
Impact the soil,
And I think that might have been some of the issues with those three basins that they dug out. Could be mulch related, could be sediment, because
Yeah.
those basins have been
So,
collecting, unstabilized areas for quite
Yeah,
some time.
particularly with the rain gardens, if they're designed to catch whatever surface water's coming on, even if it's the downspouts, right?
Sure.
What's working today isn't necessarily going to work in a couple of years if you fill them with mulch. It's going to turn to muck. It's going to be like a swamp, right? And then they're long gone, and that association is stuck with the problem because we didn't ask these questions and try to get them to do it per the design that was originally submitted.
Yep.
And that's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything special, but it doesn't make sense. I've never seen mulch in them before, and then all of a sudden I see them full
I
of mulch.
believe I brought it up in a report, and I have to look back, but like I said, what happened after that? I don't know what was approved, what wasn't, what was talked about, but...
We didn't approve mulch, I can tell you.
Sure. No, I'm not saying
guarantee
that. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
I know I have brought it up in a report, I just can't remember when it was.
Yeah.
Probably a while ago at this point. But yes, I don't disagree with you. It does say a dense grass.
Yeah, I mean, again, to what Mike has highlighted is they wanted to change it to something else, they should have came back before us and said,
Well, it has to be.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, you know what I mean, requested a change, and that's just the proper channel.
I would generally recommend any minor, whether it minor or major, let the board decide.
That's all.
We always have historically, that's what typically what we've done when Sean was sitting on with the 5-foot extension, and then these issues that we were having with the driveways, and then the front porch, and then the side door with the little roof over it. You remember all that, Sean?
Yes.
Yeah? So those were all changes that we approved, right? And driving this guy nuts because he's trying to follow it, and there's a gazillion amendments and everything else in there. It's very difficult to follow. The last thing I want to do is have side conversations and agreements that's not documented, because then there's zero way for land council to enforce anything or help us with anything that we get involved in, so. Yes, Sean?
Mr. Chairman, and this is only because I was inexcusably absent the last meeting. Was the issue of the waiver of the bond, the road bond, addressed already, or is that still something that's going on?
No, that hasn't been addressed yet.
Oh, thank you.
I didn't vote to agree on that.
I believe he's attempting to pave, I had provided an estimate.
Yeah.
And I believe he's attempting to pave a good portion of it to get his bond down. It's quite a bit.
Yep.
So I think that's his goal, or their goal.
Right. Yeah. As long as it's done properly, I'm
Sure,
all
yeah.
for trying to
Oh, no, and it will be-
complete sections so then we can get out of those neighborhoods and let the people start enjoying them.
Just a question through the chair. So if the asphalt was supposed to get a tack coat, what's the risk of not having a tack coat? Would it come up in a couple of years and?
It could delaminate.
It could separate.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose, yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
and one thing I'll mention is our observation services are monthly unless there's some other major
So
activity,
you're going there once a month?
once a month. Unless there's drainage or sewer or road work in that case, we tend to go more. Especially utilities, we try to be there almost every day if we can. Road work, we'll be there until they're done with it.
I think it's very important for you to be on site when they're doing their pavement, somebody to be on site and watching what's going on.
And if I remember correctly, he had mentioned it to me, they were doing 6 driveways, I believe. We weren't able to make it at that time, but there are obviously plenty of other driveways there. But usually when I show up, there's 10 other driveways done. Right now, I think they're all done,
Right.
whether or not a tack coat was applied.
I would guess not, because I went by, when I was in there, they were doing a couple of driveways. They didn't even use a spreader. They were in there with a wheelbarrow spreading it out and raking it out and compacting it.
Yep. Do they coordinate with you guys or give you a schedule of when they're doing work so you can?
Yes, they do, for the most part. With the driveways, I think there might have been some confusion with North Brown.
It was an opinion.
Right, if we were supposed to be there for that or not.
They had to be part of that.
Right.
But
So-
in my mind, it says pavement in that general notes.
Yeah.
Pavement is everywhere. It doesn't say street. It doesn't distinguish between sidewalks, driveways, and road.
Yeah.
So pavement is pavement.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything for Doug? And sorry, Peter, I didn't introduce you at the beginning. If you want to introduce yourself to everybody so they know who you are, and you'll probably at some point talk with Doug, because he's,
Yeah, we actually spoke a couple days ago.
yeah, okay.
And on the Zoom, I didn't realize how tall you were, so that's why I recognized you in the gallery. Yeah, Peter Mallow, Murphy, Hesse, Toomey, and Lahane, which is the firm that the town recently retained as land use counsel, which we're thrilled about. I'm sort of pinch hitting tonight for my colleague Kate Conley, who will, I think, sort of be primary quarterback. I'm second string, but I'm happy to be here anytime I'm needed, and you can all feel free to call me or Kate anytime about anything. So happy to be here, and pretty light lift tonight. I was expecting more questions, but
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. So what I had said to Peter went after we made that decision, because I had purposely asked Les if there was any conditions. That's open up to anybody on the board when we do that, or findings of facts, right? So it's important for us to start going in that direction, because that'll help Land Council be able to draft our draft decisions, because that's part of the decision. We have to have a finding of fact. Otherwise, they're watching the tape and trying to figure out what we're thinking. So if we have something specific in there that we want to mention, it's important to bring that up. So with that, if we don't have, we got meeting minutes. I know, Sean, Les was going to tell me again. I don't know if you want to sit through that or not, Peter, but I don't want to hold you any longer than you have to.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Either way.
No, I appreciate you coming out. Thanks, Doug.
Appreciate it.
It's good to meet everybody.
You too. Yep.
Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah. anytime.
Yeah, so this.
Good evening, everybody. This is James Conkey, 36 Compass Point Drive. I just wanted to check in and see, and we addressed some of the items that I had just before we get off of North Village here. I was under the understanding that we would be going through each of the items I've sent over the past couple of months during this meeting, coming to some understanding of where each item stands, and some resolution there.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've been listening to the whole time. So the chairman is currently not in attendance tonight, so I don't know what was on his mind. So I'm running the meeting for this evening. We just went through a few of the concerns with Doug Bush from Haley and Ward, the engineer.
Yeah.
So we have no representation from North Brown here tonight. I personally would like them here so they could address anything that we're going through, just to be fair, so they don't call us out and say that we're doing something that they didn't have an opportunity to speak on. So they
would have the opportunity to speak if they had shown up tonight, right?
Yep, that's what.
That's why I was told we couldn't go through all of this during the last meeting, because they weren't available, and then they weren't available again this month, and there were some follow-up items from July that they were supposed to provide. It doesn't sound like those have come through yet. So, when are we going to get to a point of resolution here? Months are going by.
Yeah, well, this project's been going on for years. If you heard what I was saying to Doug Bush, some of our concerns that we want addressed, and I also stated that we don't go and inspect this site, and we don't go visit it. We rely on the building inspector or building commissioner and the engineer to bring the items forward to us, so then we can act on them. We gave him a few things that we're concerned with to start with, so we can make sure that we're moving forward in a productive manner. We're not going to be able to solve all the issues in one meeting. We're going to have to break it into pieces to get it done. That's how I personally see it. If any member at the table thinks differently, speak up.
Okay, and you mentioned that ZBA is not the appropriate place to go for the civil concerns that I have. Who should I go to with those?
Well, if you have civil concerns, I would assume that you would speak to your own attorney. The ZBA wouldn't represent you in that.
Well, who from the town approved the civil plans?
So I'm not even following what you're saying. When you said civil, I'm thinking civil complaint, right, in a legal term. So
no, I'm talking about construction, civil plans, site work, utilities, that sort of stuff.
Well, that's what we're going through with Doug Bush.
Okay, so I had a number of concerns that I had brought forward over the last couple of months, and those were not addressed tonight. So when will those be responded to?
Well, I guess the chairman can answer that question. I can't answer for him. I don't set the agenda. I'm the vice chairman of this board. He was absent tonight, and personal reasons he couldn't attend, and I filled in for him. So I can't answer for him, and I won't. So I guess the best thing to do is to reach out to Jen in the office, and she'll get the information from the chairman, and then she can respond back to you.
Okay, so the last correspondence that I had with that office was that these items would all be discussed during this meeting, so yes, I will reach back out.
Yeah, reach back out, because on our agenda tonight, we had one height variance, and we had Northville Village Project 40B and possible votes. And that's all I have on here, and I don't have anything in my packet that I actually address. So I went over the concerns that I have, over notes that I read on the master plans, as well as what my memory serves me on this project as a whole. So,
and I think you and I share a lot of the same concerns, as do many of the residents of the complex, and there's additional concerns relative to the plans and specs being followed. There was some discussion earlier about trying to get through the paving to turn over the early phases. I don't think he's anywhere close to being able to turn over the early phases based on some of the deficiencies in the work.
Yeah. I'm confident with the building commissioner as well as the engineer that they're not just going to turn the blind eye and sign off on things. If there's concerns, they've been very active in bringing them forward to us. So it's not just going to be brushed under the rug and signed off on. It's going to be done according to the plan. Unless they come in and we agree to a change, like if you heard me say that about the downspouts going into the rain gardens. From my memory, we never voted on that, and you can't have a side agreement with a former town engineer or anything like that. It has to be documented in order to make sure that this is correct. For situations like this, you're a property owner up there, you have issues, you have concerns. We would be negligent if we just signed off on stuff and didn't consider doing it the way it was designed to be done.
Agreed and appreciated.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good night, Peter.
You too. Meet everyone.
You want coffee?
Oh, sorry.
No, he's going to let you throw that away.
Wasn't sure.
I'm just trying to find it.
We're good? Oh, you want the
No, your minutes. You told me I got to do them.
ones there?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find them. Oh, here we go.
Okay. Yep.
June 4th.
Yep. June 4th.
June 4th, the only set?
No, June
there's
4th,
three.
July 9th, and
June, July.
August 6th. I just,
Okay, let's do June 4th first. Let's go through that.
okay.
Thanks.
You good? June 4th? Yep.
I'm good.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the Wednesday, June 4th meeting minutes as written.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing as none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
June 9th? No, July 9th?
July 9th.
You weren't there.
Yes, I don't vote.
Yeah. I think this one was, yeah, this was Randora.
Margaret wasn't here, and Jim wasn't here.
Yeah, that wasn't, yeah, we didn't make a decision then. Yep.
We can still do them.
Yeah.
We got
Yep.
3, and we can do them out of necessity, so.
Yep. Ron, you good with July? You good with the July minutes?
I don't know how Jen finds out this stuff.
This one, I just want to tighten it up because we should describe the language in there about the removal, that the building should be removed in the minutes.
August 9th, yeah. So when you get to that one, just ask to hold them, address what you want to do, and then we'll continue it. So July 9th.
Yep, July
motion.
9th. On a chance.
You good with the 9th, Sean?
I,
Yep. Ron?
You good, Ron? Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the Wednesday, July 9th minutes as written.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing as none, all in favor?
Aye.
So on the August 6th minutes, I just want to be able to capture more what was discussed regarding the existing building in the minutes. I don't think you're reading this through. I just want to make sure that it's a little clearer on what the board spoke with the engineer, but I want to, regarding that the building and the...
all be taken down.
All of it should be in the foundation to be removed and stuff like that. I just want to make sure that's...
Yeah, can I see that?
Yeah. Just accurately reflected in the minutes.
So what do you want to add to that?
So what happened was we went, asked town council, we were going to get town council's opinion. And they left, came back in and said that they would take the whole building down completely.
Okay.
And we specifically was
Right.
like,
Yeah. Okay.
back to natural earth and everything else.
Raised. So, so the minutes aren't capturing all of that. The decision did capture it. So if
Correct.
you want to capture it in a minute,
I just want to correct it in the minutes because,
Right.
Yep.
so the two are in
Yep.
sync. There's no I'll pass over. We'll just get them updated.
Yeah, pass it over and then,
We can get it just updated. That way there, it's just,
Yep. No big deal.
yeah, that's all.
Still need a nap.
why did I impose it? Did?
yeah, if we don't have anything else, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and I didn't hear a second yet. Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.